Randy Colton didn't expect his cereal to turn purple. But ever since his family started hosting an alien exchange tutor for his younger sister, normal had vanished from their Montana farmhouse. Across the table, the alien girl named Sol watched him with her soft violet eyes, head tilted like she was scanning his soul. She wore one of his sister's oversized hoodies, her long silver-white hair braided down one shoulder. Somehow, even in Earth clothes, she looked like royalty slumming it on vacation. "Solari, did you purify the milk again?" Randy asked. Setting his spoon down. "I detected multiple microbial inconsistencies," she replied. "You should thank me." Mom didn't look up from her laptop. "Just don't alter the orange juice this time, please." Randy rubbed his temples. "You can't keep upgrading the fridge without telling me. I just want to eat breakfast without wondering if my toast is going to talk back." Solari blinked. "Would sentient carbohydrates offend you?" "Yes. It would ruin peanut butter forever." That made her smile, and Randy's brain scrambled to reboot. There was something dangerous about her smile, too sharp, too knowing. She was supposed to be a tutor for his little sister's advanced senolinguistics class, but Solari spent more time exploring human behavior than teaching. And lately, she'd focused most of that curiosity on him. "You are still without a prom companion," she said. Randy groaned. "Is this a quiz? I have observed 3 females turn you down." He slumped. "Thanks for the recap. I am curious why. Did you not ask me?" Randy choked on his coffee. "What? You need a date. I am available. We are compatible in height and pheromone chemistry." "That's not how humans choose prom dates." "Then how?" Randy flailed. "There's tradition, emotion, mutual attraction. Prom isn't. It's not a science experiment." Solari tilted her head again. "I believed it was a social bonding ritual marking the transition to reproductive viability. Why do you always make it sound like I'm walking into a fertility lab instead of a dance?" She stood, her movements liquid and precise. "I would like to attend." Randy blinked. "You're asking me to prom?" "No. I am agreeing to your unspoken request. I didn't ask you, but you desired to." He opened his mouth to protest, but couldn't. She wasn't wrong. He had thought about it, stupidly, once or twice. Ever since she moved in. He couldn't stop noticing her. The way she moved. The way she listened. The way she understood people, like she was peeling back layers no one else could see. "I can secure appropriate garments," she added, already heading for the stairs. "My people have studied human social attire extensively. Please prepare yourself accordingly." Mom finally looked up from her screen. Did she just accept a prom invitation? "I think I accidentally got engaged," Randy muttered. At school. News spread faster than fire in dry brush. By 4th period, half the student body knew he was bringing the alien girl to prom. Some thought it was cool. Most thought it was insane. A few thought it was a weird prank. Jake, his best friend, caught up to him near the vending machines. "You really doing this? Like, actually bringing her?" "She asked me," Randy lied. Jake raised an eyebrow. "She asked you, or she decoded your DNA and claimed you by space law?" "She's not like that. She's single quotes, asked ... different." Jake shrugged. "Well, just don't let her eat anyone. I've got money on you surviving, at least until after prom." At home that evening, Randy walked into the living room and froze. Solari stood at the base of the stairs in a dress that shimmered like starlight, every curve of her body wrapped in fabric that moved with a grace that defied gravity. Her skin glowed subtly under the lights, and her eyes, those deep violet eyes, locked on his with something that didn't feel like curiosity anymore. It felt like choice. "I calculated this configuration based on regional prom trends and interspecies aesthetic compatibility," she said softly. "Do you approve?" Randy couldn't speak. He nodded, once, dazed. "Then let us proceed," she said, offering her arm. He took it, and in that single step toward the door, Something shifted. Something big. He could feel it in the air, in her skin, in the way the earth itself seemed to tilt around her presence. It wasn't just a date anymore. It was the beginning of something else. Something that would change everything. The drive to prom felt like traveling through a dream Randy wasn't sure he was ready to wake from. Every few seconds, he glanced sideways at Solari, trying to convince himself this was real. She sat calmly in the passenger seat, hands folded in her lap, eyes glowing faintly in the dark, as if reflecting starlight. "You sure this isn't too weird for you?" he asked, gripping the steering wheel tighter than necessary. "I find it enlightening," she said. "Human rites of passage are inefficient but emotionally potent. That's one way to put it." They pulled up outside Willow Creek High. The gym had been transformed into a glowing sea of fairy lights and fabric. Couples in suits and dresses poured through the front entrance, some arriving in limos, others on foot. Randy parked near the back of the lot. His truck was the oldest vehicle there by at least a decade. When they stepped out, a wave of silence rolled over the crowd. All eyes turned. Whispers erupted like steam. Randy felt his neck burning. Solari leaned in close. "They are responding to our visual contrast. My appearance is effective." "You look like a goddess," he muttered. "I look like a guy who brought a goddess to prom in a rusty truck." "I chose you," she said simply. That made something flutter in his chest. Inside the gym, the music pounded, the lights blinked, and students danced or huddled in small groups. But the moment Randy and Solari entered, the atmosphere shifted. Conversations halted. Even the DJ hesitated before letting the next track play. Randy led her toward the sign-in table, trying not to trip on the gym floor. The student council president blinked at them, then wordlessly checked their names and handed over the prom tokens. "Thanks," Randy mumbled. "Guess we're official." Solari tilted her head, then let the ritual proceed. They walked to their assigned table. Randy could feel the stares drilling into his back. He heard fragments of conversations. "Is that the alien? Is she really his date? No way he pulled that off." But Solari seemed unfazed. She sat with perfect posture, examining the decorations with mild interest. "Your species invests significant effort into symbolic events." "Yeah," Randy said, trying to sound casual. "We like to make a big deal out of everything." The effort suggests deeper intention. It's tradition and romance. And, I guess, hope. Solari nodded. "Hope is powerful. On my world, we often forget its weight." The first slow song came on. Couples hesitated, then began to move to the dance floor. Randy wiped his palms on his pants. "I don't suppose you know how to dance," he said. "I studied instructional videos," she replied. "Shall we?" He stood. She took his hand, her fingers warm and delicate. When they stepped onto the floor, space opened up around them like magic. Other students backed away, clearing room, as if afraid to disturb what was happening. Randy placed one hand on her waist. She rested her hand on his shoulder. Their movements were slow, smooth, almost effortless. Solari moved like she wasn't bound by gravity. Randy followed, surprised to realize he wasn't embarrassing himself. "You're really good at this," he said. "I attuned to your rhythm." "That's both creepy and flattering." Solari smiled. "I'm pleased you approve." Around them, phones came out. People were recording. Randy's stomach twisted. "Let them watch," Solari whispered. "This moment belongs to us, but it may help others believe." Believe in what? In the possibility of connection. Randy met her eyes, and for a second, the world faded. There were no students, no stares, no judgment, just him and her, two species dancing under Earth's stars. When the song ended, the applause wasn't just polite. It was real. Scattered, hesitant, but growing. Randy led her back to their table, his chest tight with emotion. That was Not terrible. It was extraordinary, Solari said. You exceeded expectations. He laughed, breathless. I think I'm in over my head. You are, she agreed. But that's where new stories begin. From across the gym, Randy spotted his sister watching them. She gave him a thumbs up. He gave her a nervous shrug in return. He didn't know where the night was going. He didn't know what Solari really meant by connection. But for the first time in his life, Randy felt like he wasn't just existing. He was part of something bigger. And it had only just begun. The prom night blurred into soft lights, laughter, and 1,000 unspoken questions swirling through Randy's mind. Solari stayed close to him, guiding their steps through more dances, answering curious students with calm precision, and disarming judgment with unexpected kindness. Her presence made him feel important, seen, and strangely chosen. By the end of the evening, the crowd had shifted. What started as whispers and stares turned into cautious fascination. People approached their table, not with mockery, but with, Solari handled each interaction like a diplomat. Her alien elegance blended seamlessly with warm curiosity. Randy had never felt more out of place, and never more proud. As the last slow song played, Solari leaned in, her voice low beneath the music. You have made an impression, Randy Colton. He glanced at her. Yeah, well, bringing a glowing, alien girl to prom tends to get attention. No, she said. You impressed me. The world tilted. I did. Yes, you stepped into unfamiliar territory. You stood beside me when others stared. You danced with me without fear. He chuckled nervously. I was terrified the whole time, but you did it anyway. He looked into her eyes, deep violet, shimmering with something he didn't understand yet. You make it easier. I feel like, when I'm with you, I'm more what? I don't know. Just ... more. Solari's lips curved. Then I have succeeded. The final song ended. The crowd began to drift toward the doors, buzzing with post-prom energy. Couples made plans for after-parties. Others gathered for selfies under the balloon arch. Randy walked with Solari toward the exit, their hands brushing together like it meant something. They stepped outside into the cool night. The stars were out, Montana's sky stretching wide above them. I should drive you home, Randy said. Solari didn't answer at first. She just looked up. My people believe the stars listen, she said softly. When we begin a new journey, we speak our intentions to the sky. Randy stared at her. What would you say, if they were listening now? She turned to him. That I came to Earth expecting to teach. But instead, I found something I didn't know I was searching for. His throat tightened. You mean me? She stepped closer. I mean the connection between hearts. A bond not based on logic or treaty but choice. His heart thumped so loud he swore she could hear it. But ... You're leaving, right? After the semester ends. Not if I'm chosen. He blinked. Chosen for what? To remain, she said. In Soluran custom, attending a significant ceremony with someone willingly, publicly is the first step in formal bonding. Randy's jaw dropped. You mean like dating? No? She said, like being life-bound. He almost tripped over his own feet. Wait, that dance was a proposal. She tilted her head. You invited. I accepted. We performed the public display. This is how my people acknowledge intent to form a union. Randy rubbed his temples. Solari, you've got to warn a guy before turning prom into a wedding rehearsal. She blinked. I believed you understood. I thought you wanted to observe human culture. I didn't know I was signing intergalactic marriage papers. She stepped back slightly, her glow dimming. I misunderstood. I did not mean to presume. Randy quickly grabbed her hand. No, wait. I'm just ... overwhelmed. That doesn't mean I'm saying no. Solari's eyes searched his. Then what are you saying? I'm saying ... Double quotes, he hesitated, heart pounding. If this really means something to you, then it means something to me too. I just didn't realize how much, until now. She studied him for a long moment, then nodded. In that case, we begin the second phase. What's the second phase? She stepped closer, and this time, her voice lowered to something almost reverent. Private bonding. In a place that carries your essence. Randy blinked. You mean, my house? Your room? She corrected. Now, yes. Tonight is the moment, if you agree. He swallowed hard, and if I don't, then the bond fades. The intention becomes void. No shame, but no union. He looked up at the stars, then back at her, at the girl who'd changed his life in a single evening. The one who wasn't just studying him, she was choosing him. And somehow, deep down, he knew he was choosing her too. Okay, he said. Let's go home. Randy's pickup rumbled down the empty country road, headlights sweeping across frost-tipped wheat. Solari sat beside him in silence, but the air pulsed with unspoken promise. The farmhouse porch light came into view. Only a single lamp glowed in the living room. His mom must have fallen asleep over her research books again. The quiet felt fragile, as if any loud word might shatter what they had built in a single night. Inside, the house smelled of cedar and old paper. Randy kicked off his boots, heart hammering. He led Solari upstairs, each step creaking like it might give him away. When they entered his room, he clicked the door shut and exhaled, surprised by how small the space suddenly felt. Movie posters, guitar chords taped to the wall, a stack of unfinished college applications. Everything looked childish next to the violet-skinned girl in the starlight dress. Solari's eyes softened. This place holds your memories. It is perfect for the bond. Randy swallowed. What exactly happens? She touched the center of his chest. We share breath, speak intent, and release a spark from the heart. It is gentle, but forever. Forever's a big word. That is why it matters. She guided him to sit on the edge of the bed. Outside, wind rattled the windows. Inside, time seemed too slow. Randy closed his eyes and drew a shaky breath. I'm scared, Solari. Not of you doing something wrong. Fear means you understand. The weight. Hold my hands. Her fingers laced through his. A subtle warmth gathered where their palms met, like the first glow of sunrise under skin. Solari leaned forward until their foreheads touched. Her breath mingled with his school fragrant, carrying a hint of ozone. Speak, she whispered. Randy's voice trembled, but held. I'm Randy Colton. I choose to walk beside you, learn with you, protect what we make together. Solari's voice answered, musical and steady. I am Solari of House Vice. I choose your courage, your wonder, and the unknown path between two worlds. The warmth flared. Lines of pale light traced across her arms, then spilled over into his, sketching constellations on their skin. He felt a rush of memories that weren't his crystal cities under twin moons, a childhood laugh in a language he didn't know, the hush of deep space gardens. At the same time he sensed her tasting his own memories, wheat fields, summer rain, a kid trying to fix a broken tractor with duct tape and hope. Their lives folded together like pages of one book. A gentle pulse burst between their hearts, and the light snapped inward, leaving after mages, dancing in the dark. Randy opened his eyes. Glowing marks, small, neat sigils now circled his left wrist. Solari carried a matching ring around hers. She smiled, tears catching the faint glow. It is done. We are bound. Randy let out a disbelieving laugh. It didn't even hurt. Real bonds heal more than they harm. Before he could answer, a musical chime echoed in the room. Solari lifted a thin crystal disc from her dress pocket. Its surface shimmered to life, projecting a small violet hologram of an elderly alien woman wearing formal robes. Daughter Solari. The hologram spoke, voice like distant bells. The Constellation Council felt the surge of a completed first bloom bond. We welcome the patriarch source of the new line. The title hit Randy like a flying tackle. Patrisaur Solari squeezed his hand. It means father. Of whatever future children spring from our union. Randy's throat went dry. He managed a nod toward the hologram. Ooh, hello, Mom. The elder inclined her head. Randy Colton, you are now recognized by the Viset Constellation as life-bearer. An envoy departs at dawn to secure your protection and begin diplomatic accords with Earth leadership. Protection envoy, Randy blinked. I'm still figuring out college. Your education continues, the elder said, almost kindly, merely on a broader stage. Prepare. Change travels fast on light's wings. The hologram faded. Silence settled thickly. Randy stared at the sigils on his wrist. Your species just promoted me from prom date to galactic dad. Solari brushed her thumb over the marks. You stood afraid, but chose forward. That is why they honor you. He met her gaze, and, to his surprise, the fear inside steadied. I guess resilience is easier when someone believes you have it. I believe, she said. Downstairs, a floorboard creaked, probably his mom, shifting on the couch. Life would explode with questions. At sunrise. Diplomats, reporters, maybe soldiers. But right now, in the hush between heartbeats, Randy felt taller than the sky. He drew Solari into his arms, resting his forehead against hers once more. Whatever arrives tomorrow, we face it together. Together, she agreed. Outside, the stars wheeled in silence, and somewhere across unimaginable distances, whole constellations shifted to make room for one ordinary human boy who had dared to dance with an alien girl. Dawn painted the wheat fields gold when Randy heard the ship. It hummed above the clouds like a distant cello, then glided down behind the barn with the softness of dandelion fluff. He, Solari, and Mom hurried outside. They reached the pasture. Just as a door unfolded from the silver hull and a small honor guard stepped out in robes of midnight blue. At their center walked the elder who had spoken by Hala, her eyes bright with curiosity instead of judgment. Randy's stomach twisted, but he reminded himself of what Solari had told him in the night. Fear is only raw courage waiting for direction. He squared his shoulders, dirt still on his boots, and offered the elder a handshake. She studied the gesture, then copied it with solemn grace. Her cool fingers closed around his calloused ones, sealing a silent agreement that neither fully understood, yet both respected. Randy Colton, Patriarch Source, she said in accented English. We come in peace and with high hopes. Welcome to Willow Creek, he replied, trying not to sound like a theme park greeter. Watch out for the rooster. He thinks everything metal is another rooster. The elder's lips twitched. Humor, Randy realized, worked across galaxies. Government SUVs groaned up the driveway a moment later. Agent Willis from the State Department hopped out, tie crooked in the wind. He glanced from the starship to Randy's old barn, then pointed at the house. Private meeting location. Barn's bigger, Randy said, and it smells like hay, not politics. Against all odds. That settled it. Alien envoys, federal agents, and one sleep-deprived farm family squeezed between stacked bales while sunlight spilled through knotholes. Randy's sister, Ellie, perched on a ladder with a notebook, thrilled to witness living history. Mom stood, near the back, part chaperone, part anthropological recorder, her face a blend of awe and maternal terror. The elder opened discussions in melodic Siluran, which Solari translated phrase by phrase. They spoke of rights, education, and the care of future hybrid children. They asked about Earth's customs, its laws, its willingness to accept an unplanned royal bloodline sprouting from Montana soil. Randy listened, heart hammering, until he realized the two sides were talking past each other, drowning in details, missing the human pulse beneath. He cleared his throat, startling both delegations. "May I, say something?" All eyes turned. He felt their weight, but also their need for someone to draw a map through the haze. He took a breath that tasted of hay and courage. "You keep calling me Patriarch Source like I'm some crown," he began. "I'm just a guy who asked a girl to dance. But maybe that's the point. Two ordinary people did a crazy, brave thing, and now we're family. Maybe our worlds can do the same, so here's my idea." He grabbed Ellie's chalkboard from the 4-H coupe display and sketched two overlapping circles. "We build a here at the edge where these circles meet. Half Soluran kids, half human kids, all learning side by side. Start small. Let them grow up seeing each other as classmates instead of curiosities. In 10 years, you won't need diplomats translating feelings. They'll speak both languages in their sleep." Silence settled like dust motes in sunlight. Agent Willis tapped his pen, then nodded slowly. "A pilot academy, joint funding, cultural exchange on steroids." The elder rested her hand over Randy's chalk drawing. "The young shape the future more gently than the old bend it. This plan honors the bond." Solari's eyes shimmered with pride. "He bridges worlds with sketches and hayseed metaphors." She whispered in Soluran, knowing he could not yet understand the words, but would feel their warmth. Papers were drafted on a feed barrel. Mom provided coffee strong enough to stun a comet. By noon, both delegations shook hands. Human Styland, the elder, presented Randy with a thin crystal pendant, etched with the sigil now glowing on his wrist. "Your courage set this chain of events in motion. Wear it as a reminder that simple choices can alter constellations." When the starship rose for its return journey, Randy and Solari stood in the swirling dust. She slipped her fingers through his. "They will call you Father Beyond Stars," she said softly. "A title given to one who widens the horizon for many." He laughed under his breath. "I used to worry I'd never get out of this town. Now the horizon runs through my backyard, and through our child," she added, pressing his hand to the faint warmth at her abdomen. Hope sparked beneath his palm like a new sun. Night fell, clear and deep. Randy set a lawn chair in the yard, guitar balanced on his knee. Solari curled beside him beneath a quilt stitched by Grandma Colton. He strummed a slow chord, the strings rough against his fingers, the sound drifting into the sky. Above them, a satellite, maybe human, maybe Soluran, winked as it passed. "I don't know the anthem for a planet that doesn't exist yet," he said. "Then write it," Solari replied. "That is what humans do, make something new where nothing was before." Randy played the next chord, simple and strong. Notes climbed into the darkness, weaving with starlight, promising a melody the galaxy hadn't heard but would soon learn by heart.